Hello, everyone. We are back. Victoria and Katrina back over here in different places of the United States. And then we have also Kimberly coming already with a friendly, sweet. How is it going this beautiful morning? I would say waking up still. I don't know how it is for you, Victoria, but
I'm kind of in the same boat this morning. I stayed up till 3 a.m. finishing baking cookies for somebody.
how sweet is that?
And I also was wrapping up on some of this material just to make sure it was ready for today. So
wow, 3 a.m. That's crazy. That's I think when I got up again.
yeah, it's all good though. I am kind of a night owl naturally, so it works.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite, I think. It's just like I get up at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, so I could have said good morning. Where are the cookies?
Oh my goodness. My dad is like that. My dad gets up at 4 a.m. every day, and I'm like, you're insane. This is crazy.
I know, but you know what? It's so hot right now, so it's beautiful to actually have the morning hours where it's cool. And I'm just then going out to the garden to water everything, and that's really nice. But I can't keep my eyes open beyond 8:30 pretty much. I'm out.
Yeah, we're the complete opposite. I'm up till like 11 or 12 on a regular.
Yeah, no, complete opposite. So this is early probably for you.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Oh, hello, Shalane. Good morning.
North Carolina, not too far from me. I'm in Middle Georgia. We're almost neighbors.
Yeah. And she can teach you everything about equine aromatherapy.
That's right.
Doing good today. Hello, sweetie Erin. Let's see. I get up early today too. Very good. Victoria, I was up the night before until 2 a.m. and dragging yesterday.
We flip-flopped. We decided to change days.
And then we have, let's see, I got up at 5:30, 3 days a week to go to CrossFit. Yes.
That is so good. Congratulations.
I need to get back into that. We're in the middle of Georgia.
I'm in the military area, so Warner Robins base. It's an Air Force base, if you're familiar with it. It's getting quite large at this point. Used to be a little tiny town, not so much anymore.
Wow, yeah. So I think, Erin, you're not far away from there either. All right. Well, welcome everyone. I was just looking at the things we did yesterday, and I always pull together the transcript and then look at everything yesterday. And I just wanted to, you know what, maybe I can just share it very quickly if that's okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I just put a few topics together, what we talked about. I always need an overview, and then I also need to go step by step. And I'm like so hooked on this whole thing right now that I was like, so yesterday we specifically looked at the specific equal sales one more time. Just like I wanted to go through this list a little bit. This means targeting a very specific audience with tailored content leads to better sales result. Don't try to appeal to everyone.
Yes, 100%. None of this workshop none of it works if you don't use that rule of thumb, specific equal sales.
Yeah, so that's why I also put it right on top one more time, because I think this is such a good reminder. Yesterday, it's so easy when you're already in business and you know your audience, but when you, I think, new to a business or you're starting out just new with ads, that is so important, I think, to keep in mind, really. Ads can be effective on small budgets, as you showed yesterday, $6 a day to start out. That can already run your entire business, especially starting out your business. A return on investment potential is significant as well. And we saw that in your calculator, which was so cool. Again, thank you for supplying the calculator. If you haven't downloaded it, it's under day one and available. Victoria created this beautiful calculator for us. So even small ad spends can give you substantial profits if you do it right. And everything obviously has a caveat. I mean, as you mentioned yesterday, this is no magic. It's basically you have to have the right product. You have to have an audience. You need to be able to have a good copy. You need to be able to maybe do the video, if not video, at least really good images or something else, I guess. So there are a few points you do need to check off, and it does not just work out of the doors. So you do have to put your homework in.
I think the easiest way to say it is like it's simple, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. The structure is simple. What you have to do is simple, but it does take a lot of work to actually do the thing, right? To actually set this up. So,
Yeah, and I was thinking that because I kept on playing around with it yesterday a little bit more, and just getting the graphics done, or just figuring out what you say on video, like all of these small little steps
sure.
add up. But I think if you say, okay, you know what, for 1 week, I'm just gonna focus on getting one ad out
Yep.
and do every day something great, I think it can be easily done within 1 week.
Yep.
And that is actually what I wanted to mention as well. Like, if you take this as an opportunity right now, especially because next week, Thursday, we're going to be able to talk about your questions one more time and also look at everything you've done, maybe. It's such a good opportunity right now to spend some time on trying to get this out the door.
Yep.
The key metrics you mentioned, just focus on these two right now. They are important. The CPC and CPA. Campaign structure is important. A funnel approach using awareness, engagement, and traffic campaigns, as you mentioned, and you had even a nice percentage how to allocate your funds or your money to each of these campaigns. And you can go back to day one. I'm not going to go through this again, but this is what basically really stuck as well. Retargeting is powerful. Various retargeting strategies can help re-engage potential customers that have seen your ad already in the awareness campaign or engagement campaign as well, to spend actually the majority of the money in a traffic campaign. And then budget allocation, we talked about the 20-20-60 rule. That was really cool because it's so simple to follow. Planning and analysis is key as well, using the pre-launch checklist, just to go through that and look at your results after a week, and then you can significantly improve or add more money depending what works really well. And then just common pitfalls is being aware of typical mistakes in ad campaigns can help avoid costly errors. And there are some typical, like going really broad, or not having maybe a video, or have a, I don't know, like what other mistakes. I mean, we will figure out probably once we get
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
So I have a few questions down here, but I wanted to see if everybody, and I think you mentioned that, Victoria, come with an aha moment from yesterday. If you
Yes.
can put that in, correct.
Yes.
And then also, if you have any questions before we head into day two, let us know as well.
Yes,
And then, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with like what an aha moment is, it's basically, did you get something from yesterday that felt like, wow, this makes so much sense, and nobody has ever told me this information before? Or maybe somebody even has told you the information before, but hopefully maybe I said it in a different way that it like really clicked, because sometimes just verbiage and the way people communicate is different, and it helps that. But listing out like this is what you really took from yesterday, if you've watched day one already, would be fantastic to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I just started with these aha moments, but here
Yeah.
Janine is mentioning your calculator was an aha moment for me.
Oh,
That
thank you.
is so true. I love the calculator.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Calculator is a win.
Yeah, because you don't need to do the math, and it's just so in your face
Yes.
right away. It's like, if I put $181 in, this is what I can get out if I do everything right, but this is my potential. So
Fantastic.
yeah, let's see what Kim maybe is having as well. And yeah, for me, it was definitely also keeping the 20-20-60 rule in my head a little bit on how to allocate money.
Yeah.
That was another one for me. Targeting ads, funnel awareness, engagement, and traffic, plus love the spreadsheet, of course.
Fantastic.
Our text person is talking.
That's right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
cool.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that. Thank you all. Do we have any questions about day one material before we move on to day two? I think, Katrine, you said you had some questions, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking, so if I'm always trying to put myself back. I did run quite a few ads already, but I mentioned to you I did mostly lead generation ads. I tried traffic ads. They got really expensive. I wasn't aware of these 20-20-60 rules, maybe doing traffic ads. I really had great success a few years back with boosting just a post, but you
Yeah.
mentioned yesterday that
Yeah,
changed.
back in like 2014, that's all you had to do. It
Oh
was
my goodness,
incredible.
exactly. Yeah. So this was like heaven on earth. It's like you got hundreds of more followers and you
Yeah,
got more people that
yeah.
liked it and engagement.
Boosting was so powerful between like 2014 to like maybe 2016 or 2017, and then it just plummeted.
And they still offer it as far
Yeah,
as I can
they
see.
do.
But
And I never boost anymore ever. It's just not. It's not catered enough to what you need, in my opinion.
okay, yeah. So I think one of my questions was, in case others might not think about it, because I have been doing ads, and maybe I speak for others as well, is, for example, if you have just opened up your Facebook business page, which you need to run ads, and you have, let's say, 10 followers on it. You mentioned yesterday pre-populate with some organic content already, so something is going. But would you say then the budget to allocate maybe first would be different from the 20-20-60 rule, that you say build up maybe awareness first and then allocate the money at a later point differently? That was just my first question.
Sure. I can definitely understand that methodology, but the funnel is intended whether you have 0 followers or you have millions of followers. The funnel remains the same. You can optimize the funnel, you can add other features to the funnel to make it even greater, so that if like you do already have 1 million followers, you could create lookalike audiences and things like that, which would only help you out. But digital ads are really a way for you to get followers if you don't have them already. And what some people will do is they will make some people make digital ads that specifically try to gain followers. And what I mean by that is like there is an actual campaign type, and I forget what it's called. It might just be called page likes or something like that, actually.
I think it is actually.
But
Yeah.
there is a campaign type that will specifically try and like it's a little box that pops up and a button somewhere on it. I want to say the top right corner, if I'm not mistaken, where people will see a post from you and then they can like or follow your page directly from there. I don't ever recommend using that because you're not really causing impact that way, I guess is the best way to say it. Sure, your numbers might grow up in followers in your follower count, and it might look good from a data standpoint, but just because I liked or followed you from the newsletter feed doesn't mean that I actually know who you are, doesn't mean that I really enjoyed this content that much, doesn't mean that I really like I might have just pressed the button. Like there's not really any even micro commitment with that, I guess is what I'm saying. So when you run a video ad that is a awareness campaign, for example, and I watch a majority of your video, I've made a micro commitment to you because you've intrigued me. You had a great hook at the start. You had great value throughout. And now I'm actually intrigued with who your business is. And that's very different than just like clicking a little button. And most people are not going to, the people who do follow on posts like that are probably just hitting random things and not really paying attention to what they're doing, because most people are not going to like or follow a page until they actually visit your page and see some content from you anyways. They want to know that you look like a legitimate company, a legitimate person that knows what they're talking about, that has some form of proof that you can do what you say you can do, right? Like you might see something like we talked about the mattress advertisement a lot yesterday. I use that as an analogy. So let's go back to that. You might see a mattress and you're like, I could use a new mattress, but like, let me see who this is, right? And you click on the profile and then you're scrolling through and you're trying to look at the Facebook reviews. You're trying to look at pictures of their mattresses. You're trying to look at maybe where the storefront actually is. Like you're trying to like build some trust with this company because you saw the ad, but that doesn't mean that like liking or following the page is gaining that trust. It's the stuff that you don't necessarily get to see, as far as what us as business owners can't see that interaction happening all the time, where somebody is going through our page and like analyzing us that way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense. And I actually do that all the time. Before I would purchase something, I do go to the bio
Absolutely.
of the person. I go and read the about page or section at least quickly. Maybe I go even to their website and Instagram account, because I often think the Instagram account looks better than the Facebook account, and so on. So yeah, okay, great. Well, thanks
It's
for.
all about proof, like building up proof, building up trust more than anything else. And it's like, even if you're a brand new business and maybe you haven't had like a lot of sales yet, so you're like, how do I create proof? I haven't had a lot of sales. Like, do some stuff for free. I know that's like not everyone's favorite thing. Like, I'm trying to make money here, right? But do some stuff for free, turn that into your case studies, and allow that to become the proof on your social media, because it really is needed in this day and age. I mean, nobody goes to Amazon and buys something without at least looking at how many stars it has in the corner, or you actually go down to the review section and you read what people are actually saying about it too. Like, you're doing one of those things because you want to make sure that this Amazon product looks really good. And it's the same thing on Facebook or Google or whatever.
Yeah. No, I would even go a step further, is I take that product and search if I can find somewhere else reviews or testimonials. But I'm also very particular there, especially when I order online. I also try to sometimes find it from a small supplier so I can support them. So there's a lot involved. And I think that is also something what I've been teaching a lot, is do something for free to just gain trust, to get these testimonials, put them out there. It's so important, because a lot of people, you see a lot of ads saying, are you still doing stuff for free? It's like, duh. Well, if you're new to the market, what else are you supposed to do in the beginning?
Yeah,
You can
you
be
really
the
do have to.
most amazing person in your job, but if you don't have anything to show, why would I believe you?
Yeah, you
So
need to be able to show it, and you really need people to say good things about it too. That helps as well. Like, yes, go do this work for somebody for free, and then ask them if they can leave you a testimonial, especially if it's a video testimonial. Those are really powerful.
yeah, they are.
And there's actually, like, this kind of gave me a reminder too. I should have put this in the tutorial video that I recorded for actually building out like your ads and stuff on Google. But in Google, there's a section where you can add tags, and it's essentially like, what would somebody search on Google to try to find your type of product or service? And you can fill out keywords and tags and stuff like that. And a good, like, funny tip is to actually like leave your brand name and put like positive reviews, but then also leave your brand name and put negative reviews on there, because people are going to, if they're investigating you, if they're trying to see if you are a good person or company to work with or not, they are also going to Google search you so-and-so bad reviews and see if something pops up that way. But if you're great at Google Ads, then, you know, obviously, if you have any super bad reviews, which hopefully you don't, those would come up, but also your promotional pages, your website, your landing page, whatever you have, is also going to pop up because you've added it as a tag, which is funny.
Yeah. All right. Wow. Good tip. I think Kim had one. Can you include some advice on Facebook versus Instagram business page? More likes. I'm getting new followers, not many page likes or comments on posts. I've been watching Facebook Insight stats.
Yes, and I guess my first piece of advice is that it doesn't matter that much. And I know that's,
I wanted to say the same. Yep.
I know, like, intuitively we're like, man, I just really want to, like, I want my stats, I want my likes to be up higher. And I know that sounds like it should be the most important thing, right? Like, how many followers do you actually have, or how many likes do you actually have? But it honestly isn't. First of all, it's an exponential growth kind of thing. All content is. And if you're not familiar with what an exponential growth graph is, let me see which side I'm coming from. Exponential growth starts as almost a seemingly horizontal line, and then it kind of just really skyrockets upward. So it's not like this steady increase at a complete diagonal. It's very much flat for a very, very long time, and then it shoots up. That is all social media growth in general, because when you begin posting content and you begin building this brand and you begin building an audience, you start off with like 1 or 2 people, and then you grow to 3, and then you grow to 4, and it's like the most agonizing long situation ever. And you're like, I've been doing this for 6 months and it feels like nothing's working. I promise you it is working. It just takes a very long time. And then when you start hitting like thousands of people or tens of thousands of people, it progresses so much faster because when those tens of thousands of people are liking your post, it's showing to so many more people and so on and so on. And it's all exponential growth from there. At the beginning, it's all about just creating a library. So don't focus as much. I know it's hard to say, it's hard to do, easier to say. Don't focus as much on how many page likes you get or how many like likes and comments on actual posts you get. Think of it more like you are building a library of content, because that library of content, A, can be recycled later, but B, also becomes the place people will go to find advice on whatever it is that you're offering, on whatever it is that you need. So if you look at it more from a strategy of, man, none of my stuff is getting likes and posts and shares and follows and all this kind of stuff, then you're going, I'm not even doing something effective. I'm just going to stop altogether. When you look at it as like, right now, I am building the foundation for my library, and this is where people are going to go to find more information in the future, then it makes a lot more sense. And you're going to see a lot better growth in the long run as a result of that. And I know that's like, I tell everybody the same thing. Organic content is a long man's game, and nobody likes that terminology, but it really is. It takes like 3 to 5 years to see success on organic content.
Absolutely. I can totally confirm that. And I've got multiple accounts and I've been doing mostly organic throughout the years. And even with advertisement, that doesn't mean your channels are growing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more like, with advertisement, it's more like people are getting introduced to you specifically, and they may or may not work with you as a result, and that comes with your conversion rate and stuff like that. Actual likes and follows and things like that on pages comes from building a library of content. And that's just the only way that I know how to say it. It's kind of like if you had a super small library that only had like 3 books in it, like who's going to go to that library? There's not enough information for them to learn from. But if you have some beautiful, big, grand library with multiple stories, full of content, full of information for people to learn from, now you have a packed library full of people reading those books, right? And that is what content is at the end of the day.
I like that analogy. And also, I think what we forget is that over time, the more we do something, the better it will actually also get. And with that, also the following will happen more, and also the likes and comments will come more. But I think if I were to start out over again right now, after knowing what I know about ads and organic traffic or doing a ton of posts or anything like this, I would say you're silly to do organic right now. Just really start with ads first and continue to do your organic ones, but don't focus on it heavily.
I think you do need to do organic because, again, you need to build the
Yeah,
library. If you are specifically trying to make sales quickly, organic is not going to get you
that's what I meant actually.
there.
If you just really want to grow your business and you don't have 3 to 5 years time and you don't want to do it for 3 to 5 years, I think organic is not the highest priority in that moment. You have to do it, I agree, but really trying to learn ads and focusing on ads first, I would highly recommend that after
Yes. If
being.
you are trying to create instant sales, ads is what's going to get you instant sales. If you are trying to create amazing sales over, in the next 3 years, I want to be able to hit like these numbers, you have to build organic content, and you have to build a lot of it because you have to build up that library.
Right.
So it does depend a little bit on your goals and your current situation, like what's your current career look like, because this could take a while and things like that. But it is a fantastic question for sure. Organic content is a long man's game. Paid ads is taking your already made organic content typically and just accelerating it to help increase those sales faster.
Great. Erin is saying, and you don't own that audience either. I think
true.
that is specific to my husband does that to look at our business reviews. He looks for both.
Yeah.
And
And not owning your audience is also very true. I think in such a digital age that we are right now, and how connected we are on things like YouTube and social media, and you can have a website and you can have a school community and you can have a YouTube channel and all these things, like you don't technically have to own your audience anymore. Like, even 5 years ago, email was probably the thing that's making people the most sales. And there are some companies that it still absolutely is. But you don't necessarily have to do that today. It is great to have, but if you don't have an email list, it's also not going to be like the end of your business. You can have a totally different strategy and go with that as well. Um, there's multiple paths that are very successful, and you can just kind of start on the one that you like the best, whether it's organic content and paid ads if you want sales quickly, or creating an email list, building off an email list. Maybe you create like a school community, the way Katrine's got going on right now. You can also turn any of those into highly successful audience fields for yourself as well.
yeah, and with choices always comes the pain also of what is the right thing for me to do.
Sure. I
Yeah.
think a part of that is like, what do you enjoy the most too? Like I am horrible at doing my own organic content. Like, I have done organic content for a lot of businesses, but I hate doing organic content for myself. I really do.
Funny. Wow, that is so, but it's like, it almost feels like, oh, I can do it for you, no problem, because, it's not so
Well,
close to you.
usually I'm getting paid, so there's a money motivation. Honestly, I'm very lucky to get most of my business through referrals or just like cold pitching people. Like, if I talked about, sometimes you see ads and I'm like, I'll get ads sent to me and I'm like, this could be optimized better. And so I'll just cold pitch to the company and be like, hey, this could be optimized better. And then sometimes they bite on that, and that's totally
Wow.
so I don't enjoy organic content for one. I would honestly much rather just email somebody and be like, hey, have you considered blah, blah, blah. And then if they want to sign an agreement with me and pay me some money to help them out, like, cool. How awesome is that? So
That is actually much more efficient, I would say.
there are 4 ways to market anything. This is not part of the workshop, but we could talk about it for sure. Organic content, paid ads, cold pitching, and warm pitching. Those are the only 4 ways to market anything. And so
What's the last one? One pitching?
Warm pitching.
Oh,
So
warm
warm pitching is just reaching out to your current family and friends and just letting them, like, you tell, you don't sell is kind of the rule of warm pitching. You just let them know, hey, just so you know, I am working on this thing. If you know of anybody that, would be interested, please let me know or send them my way or whatever you want to do. Cold pitching is talking to complete strangers, and you kind of just do what I was describing, where it's like, hey, I noticed this about your company. Have you considered blah, blah, blah? That's what I do most of the time. Of course, then there's organic content, which we've talked a decent amount about. Organic content is a long man's game. So I recommend organic content for long-term success, but also know that it's going to take a long-term success. And then there's digital ads, which just boost everything tremendously, which is, of course, what we've been talking about in this workshop.
Yeah, speeding up everything greatly.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Kim is saying great suggestion and comparison between organic content library and Facebook ads. So great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Are we ready for day 2 officially?
I am.
Okay, cool. So yesterday we spent a lot of time talking strategy, right? It was mostly all just the mental stuff. Today we're going to be talking a bit more about implementation, and I actually don't think it's going to take us quite as long as it did yesterday either. I feel like this might be a shorter one, but I've also pre-recorded a couple videos, and we'll talk more about them when we get there. But the technical tutorials of how to actually set up ads in Google Ads and the technical part of how to actually set up ads in Meta Ads, I pre-recorded some videos for that we will send you links to. Katrina, I actually sent those links to you in school already, just so you could have them and put them where you need to.
Yeah, we'll do right now.
And that is one reason that this day 2 is probably not going to take as long with us together, because I wanted to pre-record those, A, to make it easier on myself, but B, to make it easier on you as well. You can go through, pause, play, do the follow along and do it as you need to. So let's dive right into day 2. We talked about our aha moments. Step number 1 of this whole scenario is I do want you to create a test campaign first. So yesterday we spent a lot of time talking about creating that funnel where it's awareness, engagement, and traffic. And for this test campaign, I just want you to forget that information for just a split second. All right. I know I'm asking for something a little bit crazy, but with your test campaign, you are going to create a traffic campaign specifically, very specifically a traffic campaign. You can use it out of content that you already have, or if you need to make content, Katrine has built a great like free AI prompt to help you figure out what that content should be. I'm going to provide you a checklist in module 4 of what you're going to need to create your digital ads as well. And then we want to build out your audiences. That is in my tutorial videos that you will get a link to. I want you to set a budget of just $50 and run it for at least 1 week. And you don't touch it for that 1 week. Okay, that's important. We set it, we forget it, we don't touch it for 1 week. Allow the campaign to run for 1 week uninterrupted. And then we are going to look at the data and your cost per click. If you remember what the cost per click is, that is the total number of clicks you get to like your website or your landing page. The total amount of money you spent on your ads divided by the total amount of clicks to your website or your landing page. Okay. If your cost per click is $15 or less that week, then we continue on with the funnel build that we're going to talk about in step 2. If it's $16 or more, I recommend that we focus on your audience more. So if your cost per click is showing up as $16 or more, what that tells me is that we don't have the right audience for your product. So either your product or your service has not been validated, or the audience that you're specifically targeting in your ad is not the audience that would be interested in that product or service. And we need to like retest to make sure that we've got the right audience, because I would much rather you spend $50, find out that information now, than to spend $200 in a month and then realize like you're not getting the results that you want. Okay. So step 1 is building out this test campaign. It's going to be a traffic one. You're going to make sure that you've got like your content. There's a checklist for that. I don't want you to you're going to build your regular custom audiences. I don't want you to build a lookalike audience yet. Okay. Lookalike audience should come later after some optimization anyways, but it would be bad to run this ad, realize that you don't have the right audience targeted, but then you've also made lookalike audiences off of that, right? Like if we don't have the base audience correct, there's no reason to make a lookalike audience yet. We set a budget of $50, run it for 1 week uninterrupted, and then check that CPC and see what your results are. Okay. Step number 2, or modules 2 and 3, is all about actually building out the funnel strategy on Google and or Meta, wherever you want to place it. Google is fantastic if you are really diving into video, and especially if you've got like a YouTube channel that maybe you're trying to build up or something like that. Just for some context, your Google ads are going to show up basically anywhere that Google does. So somebody might be on a website and your ad pops up in a little sidebar. Somebody might be on YouTube, and if you've got some video ads running, which I talk more about in the tutorial video, then your video might be the one that is like prompted to watch next, or it might show up in the little, when you have finished watching a video and then like a couple suggestion videos pop up in the screen, it might pop up in something like that. It might pop up in the middle during an actual advertising block while you're watching a YouTube video. That's typically where it's going to show up. Meta, of course, is going to cover Facebook, and it also covers Instagram. So if you are specifically trying to build an audience there, that would be the focus I would have. And Meta, you can do video, images, and carousels. So there's kind of a different variety. Google can do images, but it's got a major focus on video typically. So do keep that in mind. Let me share. Well, actually, no, I've already sent the links. So Katrine, you've got the links for the tutorials. Where can everybody find those at?
They are right now already in under day 2, it says Meta Ads tutorial and Google Ads tutorial.
Perfect. So these, each video, I think the Google one is maybe like 40 minutes long, and the Meta one I think is a little bit shorter, around 30, maybe even 20 minutes. These are me walking through and building the exact campaigns with you, just to give you an idea of like where all the buttons are, what does what do you actually need to click on versus what would I skip right now for optimization later. And my homework for you really in this next week is to go and build your test campaign on at least one of these platforms and use that tutorial video if you need it. I would also recommend, there's tons of like really great tutorial videos on YouTube where somebody put in a lot of time to like break every little thing down. So if you want, you can check out some of those. But I specifically made these tutorials last night and yesterday afternoon just to walk through how to build the awareness campaign, the engagement campaign, and the traffic campaign that we talked about. So that would be my homework for you, is you're going to build out your test campaign.
Just a quick question quickly, Victoria. In regards to video, is it better to do horizontal or vertical?
So typically what you would do is you would start with a horizontal video, which is going to be 16:9 ratio. But then you also will use vertical, like you will take that same video and you will trim it down to a vertical setting. So if we'll pretend that this is my horizontal video, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to take the same video, maybe I'm talking to the camera like this, and you're going to trim it down so that the smaller portion is shown. So whatever in the center typically is. And that same video will show up in different places. So Google will take a look at the ratio of that video. Is it a 9:16? Is it a 16:9? And based off what the size is, you can upload it to different areas. If you are going, well, I don't know what size things need to be, don't worry. That's on my checklist for your content stuff coming up.
Okay.
It is a little bit of a pain. I wish there were kind of an easier way to do some of that, because it does take quite a bit of time to resize content. But you don't necessarily have to have your ad in every placement if you simply don't have the size to fit whatever the placement requirements are for Google or Meta. But I do recommend try to have your content in as many placements as possible, because it will only perform better with time, right? So.
Right. And would you suggest Canva to resize?
Yes, absolutely. If you've got images, so typically what I do when I'm making content for people is I always start with that horizontal image, or that horizontal, like if you're making a thumbnail for YouTube, for example, I start with the horizontal one because it's a larger size, and then I downsize it to a square ratio, and I will shift things around if I need to kind of fit it and make it look nicer from a design standpoint. And then you can have, your horizontal one go on YouTube as like a YouTube thumbnail, but then you can have the square one go on something like Instagram to show like, hey, here's my new video out today, or something like that.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I also want to briefly talk about other platforms. Now, this workshop is very catered to Google and Meta, but it is possible to recreate the same exact funnel and campaign on other platforms. You can do this on X, you can do this on TikTok, you can do this on LinkedIn. The buttons will be a little bit different, but the overall theory, the overall strategy is exactly the same. I do want to give a little bit of a disclaimer for TikTok. TikTok is very expensive to advertise on. So we talk about $6 a day for Meta and Google. TikTok wants you to spend at least $20 a day with them. And I do not recommend TikTok advertising for that reason, because it is so expensive by comparison. You can get really great organic results from TikTok, and I would just stick with that for now, because who wants to spend $20 a day on TikTok advertising, especially if you're new in business? If you really find that your audience is on TikTok, then I would start with organic, build up an audience a little bit, kind of like what Katrine was saying earlier about like awareness first. I probably would do that on TikTok just because it's so expensive to actually advertise on there. TikTok also likes to do a method that I'm not really a big fan of, where you actually have to buy, I think they call them tokens first. And so instead of paying directly with your cash for advertising, you buy tokens first and you use your tokens for advertising. But what that means is that you always have some tokens, aka money, left over that you can never use because you have to have so many tokens to run an ad. So it's not a good system. Honestly.
It's a money-making system for them, I think.
Absolutely a money-making system for them. And the first time I kind of experimented with that, I was honestly enraged.
Oh yeah, I would believe you.
So it's not that you just simply upload your card and that's that. You upload a card, you buy tokens, you use tokens to advertise. So if you are going to do TikTok advertising, I want you to be aware of that.
Nice.
All right, let's talk about the checklist. Let me pull up my checklist here. Actually, I should send that link to you as well, Katrine. And while I'm doing this, if you guys do have questions, please put those in the comments as well.
Would you say Meta or Google is easier than the other one? One or the other one is easier to do?
I do find that Meta is easier. First of all, I like the UI layout of Meta better. I think it's a little bit more visually easy to understand because Google's incredibly powerful, but that also means you're given a lot of options when creating your campaigns, and that confuses people if you've never done it before, which is understandable.
But it definitely has the possibility to reach YouTube viewers and other markets. Yeah. Meta doesn't.
It's incredibly great. If you've never built campaigns before, Meta is definitely the easier of the two to learn and master, in my opinion, mainly because it's very copy and paste. Like once you build one campaign, every campaign is pretty much the same exact thing. And you're going to see that in my tutorial video. Yeah. Google always like slightly changes one little thing or like calls this thing something when it's very similar to this other thing, and like incredibly powerful stuff, but it can be a little bit confusing, admittedly. So I would not consider it. I'd consider it like intermediate friendly, not beginner friendly, I guess.
Got it.
All right. Okay.
Chinese.
Yeah. They get in their money, let me tell you. TikTok advertising is ridiculous.
Yeah, so
I think I went to my husband after experimenting on TikTok, and I was like, you would not believe this. And like, he doesn't even do anything with paid advertising. He knows nothing about paid advertising. But I was like, I can't believe you have to buy a token and then you have to spend the time. So like, I was just outraged.
I'm glad I wasn't around for that.
Absolutely outraged. I was like, who does this?
Okay, well, I added the paid ads checklist as well to day number 2.
Perfect. All right. Well, Katrina, if you can help me share my screen here, I can walk through the checklist. Perfect. I don't know. Maybe you guys, I don't know if you can read that very well. Let me see if I can zoom in. There we go. That's probably a little easier to see. All right. So this is your checklist to kind of help make sure that you have everything that you need in order to build these campaigns in the first place. It looks like a lot. A lot of it we've already gone over in the workshop from yesterday. So most of this you already have. And first off, we've got our campaign foundations, target audience research completed, demographics, interests, behavior, pain points. This is where we want to talk about getting specific with our target audience. And again, Katrine built a AI prompt for you guys that you can use to help figure out what your target audience is if you don't already know. Budget allocated, you've got the budget calculator from yesterday so that you can go in and figure out how much you want to make and how much you need to spend each day. And of course, I already gave you that 20-20-60 rule as well. Campaign duration set, you just need to know when you're going to start and end your campaign. Success metrics defined. I actually have some checkpoints for you down at the bottom of this checklist, but basically, before you start anything, you should know what success looks like to you, right? So I gave you some CPC guidelines down at the bottom and some CPA guidelines down at the bottom. But in general, you might also have an idea of like, okay, I really want people to start seeing my YouTube channel, for example, you might have a certain success metric and you need to figure out what you want that to be. Primary target audience defined, age, gender, location, interest. Again, this kind of ties into that target audience research completed up here. And geographic targeting specified, so you can target people based on where they live or even what language they speak. So if you're going to service people who only speak English, for example, you might as well add that as part of your demographics. Total campaign budget determined. You've got the budget planner for that. Daily budget calculator. The budget calculator I gave you yesterday will automatically figure that for you. So it's already done. Campaign runtime goes back into your campaign duration. And the budget allocation, which I gave you, is 20-20-60 rule. Okay. Actual content needs. So you're going to need a primary header, secondary header, long headline, ad description. So these will show up in different places and in different ways depending on the placement of your ad. You can also, both on Google and Meta, this is super useful, you can add multiple versions of these things. So let's assume you can't decide on what the best hook is for your header. Like, I don't know, if we were talking about this workshop, for example, is the hook, $6 a day ads better than budget-friendly advertising? Or is ROI on budget-friendly ads like the best hook? Like, maybe you can't decide on what your headline should be. It's totally fine. You can add multiple versions, and Google and or Meta will go in and they'll add a header and a description and all this stuff, and they kind of test it for you, basically. Like, they might pull this description and they might pull this header and combine them together. And if that's performing the best in your advertisements, that's the one that's going to show more. So you can come up with a few different versions of this. You don't have to. It's nice to do. But you're going to need some headlines, some ad descriptions, and then call to action. Google, I think, will try to automate for you if you want it to. Meta has a list that you can pull from. That's in my tutorial video. It might say something like, buy now, learn more, or schedule a call, something like that. Landing page URL. So of course you need to know where your people are actually going to go after the traffic campaign. And display URL. So some URLs are very long, very lengthy, very ugly, lots of characters in them. You can decide what you want your display URL to be to make it look a little bit more clean, a little bit more aligned with your brand and easier to read. And then this is probably the biggest part of this checklist that most people are going to need, is the actual formats for the content. So Meta will ask you for these formats: square 1:1, landscape 16:9. That's typically like your YouTube video size. Portrait is the vertical video, or what's called like reels and shorts. Carousel images, video content style, like how big is it, what kind of file type, and video thumbnail. And then you've got the same thing for Google. Landscape, square, portrait, logo sizes, and YouTube video ads. And then just some pro tips about what to check for quality-wise. High resolution, text overlay under 20%. So Meta will prevent certain ads from showing if text is too big on your image. So my square here that you can see, let's use my name that's down here. I think my name on this is probably less than 20%, but if it was like blown up and across the screen, like that would easily cover more than 20% of my image. Meta will actually prevent some advertisements from showing because of that. Brand colors and fonts are consistent, and that it's mobily optimized. Basically, just make sure that you can read it on your vertical screen, your smaller screen. And then we've got technical setup. We want to make sure that you actually have a profile set up on Business Manager or Google Ads. Business Manager is Meta. Google Ads, of course, is Google. Make sure you add a payment method so that it can actually draw payments for your ads and continue to let them run. Make sure you have the right account permissions. So this would be bigger if, like, let's say you're not the CEO of your company, but you're like a social media manager or a ad manager, something like that, marketing manager. You need to make sure that the CEO actually provides you permissions to create ads on your accounts. Otherwise, you will not be able to. And then that you have created your custom audiences if you already have existing audiences. So an email list, a website list. If you have any kind of pixel tracking already set up, you can upload information from that. Fantastic. Campaign structure, campaign naming convention. This is just for clarity's sake amongst your team, really. You'll notice in my tutorial videos, I keep naming super easy. I will just name it like awareness campaign for product, engagement campaign for product, traffic campaign for product. And ad groups and ad sets organized logically. Again, this is kind of that naming convention or some way to just help keep things organized, especially if you have a larger team where multiple people are going to be working on campaigns. That's the first part of this checklist. The next part is red flags. I do just kind of want to take a minute. Do we have any questions about the first part of the checklist?
I can start already. Just how important is setting up a pixel?
I would argue that it's quite important. I mention in my tutorial videos, if this is your first time ever setting up campaigns, then don't worry about it right away. Just get your campaign set up and running. But absolutely, I would argue that shortly after you get some initial data, pixel is incredibly important.
Okay.
Yeah. It really helps to give you data in multiple places. And there's really two different pixels that you can set up. Meta has its own pixel that you can pop onto your website, and it will track when somebody leaves your ad and they visit your website, what are they actually doing on your website? Like what kind of actions are they visiting this page? Are they checking out with you and buying something? Did they opt into something? And then you can set up the same exact type of pixel from Google Analytics and go and put that on your website as well. And then Google will go, okay, did this person go from your ad and what websites did they visit? What actions did they take and so on?
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the red flags. So anytime you go to set up a campaign, first of all, I want you to seriously set it and forget it for at least 1 week. Give it a week to just kind of breathe, do its thing, and then you can check on the data. And the data that you want to check is this stuff right here, ultimately. Two most important things. Your cost per click. This is going to be on your traffic campaign specifically. And if your cost per click is less than $2 or less, I should say, then that is a phenomenal range. You want to keep going with that. If you're between, I'm sorry, this should say 3. If you're between 3 and 7, then you're at a good point. Obviously, if you can get closer to that 2, fantastic. If you're at an 8 to 12 cost per click, then there's probably some optimization that's needed, whether it's specifically with your content, like maybe, maybe an image isn't capturing the same attention, maybe a video doesn't have the right hook. You can kind of optimize some of those things or tweak your target audience as well. And then if your cost per click is $13 or more, then we know that we probably need to retarget we need to reevaluate who we're targeting audience-wise. And I've got some solutions down below for that as well. Now, earlier, I did tell you that if you run a test campaign and you're around the $16 mark, that you would need to reevaluate your target audience then. For a test campaign, I always expect the cost per click to be just slightly higher than what it will be when I create the funnel anyways, because you are not creating the awareness campaign, you are not creating the engagement campaign, and therefore you're not building the same kind of trust with your audience that you would if you had those things set up. You're just showing the traffic ad campaign right now and just making sure that you can test your audience. So expect that cost per click to be a little bit higher during your test, and then to drop a little bit more as you actually build out the awareness, the engagement, and the traffic. The other data point that you really want to look at, and this is for your business as a whole, not just ads, but the cost per acquisition. And we talked about that a little bit yesterday. Cost per acquisition, to remind you, is the total amount of money that you spent on marketing efforts. So your digital ads and anything else, divided by the total number of new customers coming in. And most people will do this per month and per year to get a data point. Ultimately, you want your cost per acquisition to be no more than a 3-to-1 ratio with whatever your average order value is. So what does that mean? That means that you want to take your average order value. Let's say you sell your product or service for $97, for example. If you take $97 and divide by 3, that gives you 32.33. You don't want your marketing budget to exceed that 32.33 per customer. Okay, per customer. Is that math making sense? Should I try to explain that again?
Yeah, so I just wanted to maybe reiterate that. What a difficult word to say.
Yes.
So basically, let's say I sell consultations, let's say for what you just said, 97 or $100 per person. And then the cost of getting a client in to book a consultation for $100 should not surpass a third of the $100.
Yep, per client. So
per client. So 33.33 or whatever that would be per client. So
if I sell a $500 package of some kind,
right,
and a service package or something like that, you want your ultimate marketing cost to cost anywhere around $166 or less per person. So we spent this much on our total marketing cost, we got this many paid clients. What is that average number? That's the cost per acquisition. We want that cost per acquisition to be no more than $166 if our product or service is $500.
Correct. And just sometimes as it is, let's say, for example, you had 30 discovery calls and 10 clients booked with you, but the 30 discovery calls came in through your ad and you spent, let's say, $1,000 on them and 10 booked, and then you made $1,000 because 10 actually took you up on your offer. So that means in that case, you came out 0-0. Would you then say, okay, this ad needs to cost you way less in order to make sense? Or would you then say, well, you've got 10 clients in right now. Now you have the chance maybe to upsell them to something different or do something else?
Yeah, it kind of depends on, are you just doing paid ads or did that $1,000 go into something else? Like, did you also get brochures or business cards made? Did you also like pay for, I don't know, some people might pay like a marketing agency, for example. Did you pay a marketing agency to run something for you? Did you pay to send like email campaigns out? All of the marketing costs have to be considered when you're considering how you're actually getting your paid clients, because most people, we're talking a lot about digital ads in this workshop specifically, and cost per click is like the statistic that is specific to your digital ads. Cost per acquisition is specific to your entire business. So cost per click, how is my digital ad affecting, or how are people responding to my digital ad, I should say. Cost per acquisition is how are people responding to all of my marketing efforts within the business. And if you're only doing digital ads, well, that's super easy to calculate.
That is.
If you're doing digital ads and you're like going to a festival to talk to somebody and you're paying to be a speaker at an event and you're paying a marketing agency or marketing freelancer to help you out, like now we have to start looking at like all of those have an effect on your marketing ability. And if you are only breaking even, you spent $1,000 and then you made $1,000 and technically that's no profit at all, right? Like that's, you had revenue of $1,000, but your return on investment was zero because you've spent $1,000 on your marketing effort. Well, now we need to start looking at ditching some of these efforts or going all in on something else. So typically what will happen is you might find yourself testing a lot of marketing things, like, you know, doing all kinds of stuff to see what works. And then once you start finding something that kind of works, now it's time to start cutting out the other stuff and focus a majority of your effort on the thing that's working because you're going to see the most returns that way.
Right. Okay, makes sense. So Kim was saying it seems expensive to spend $33 that you would want to increase higher sales. Is this the norm? I think it comes back to where you said 20 in and 60 out to the ATM machine, right? So it's basically you spend a third and get
so back. In the case of like spending $33 to get one client, like you spent $33 on that one specific client, it goes back to that question of if you could sit in front of an ATM machine and put $33 in and be guaranteed to get $100 back, would you sit there and do it? And I would, because if I'm making $67 every couple minutes or something like that, I mean, that's pretty nice hourly salary. So
yes,
I'll take that for sure. And it also just depends drastically on your industry, on how much you actually charge for your product or service. Because if you, for example, if you are doing a service-based thing, but you are not charging a higher cost, then you're really not going to make profit.
exactly.
Usually service-based things are going to be more expensive. If you are charging for like a cheaper digital product, then, you know, maybe that doesn't require a lot of your time and it doesn't really require much more work than you've already put into it. You can usually expect to pay like less per user. You might pay like $2 per user, but you're making like $7 off of them or $10 off of them or something like that in return.
Yeah, so I think, Kim, to come back and also what you mentioned, Victoria, is you say increase your prices. So basically, you know that, for example, if you do a 1.5 hour consultation and then at the end it's going to be in a profit range of $60, let's say, to keep it simple, then yes, you're probably undercharging already because you're not considering marketing costs at all.
Yeah.
And I think that is something what every business should build early in to their structure, is you have to have marketing dollars in order to get clients in.
I would also argue this 3-to-1 ratio is probably like the bare minimum. Like if you're using a 2-to-1 ratio right now, for every one client you get, it's costing you like two that amount for marketing. Then you're ultimately having to pay more per user. But if you start getting a little bit better, you start optimizing a little bit more, and you can have like a 5-to-1 ratio or a 6-to-1 ratio. Now you're getting 6 clients for the amount of money you're spending in marketing, and obviously your return on investment is going to be so much better.
Just a question here: would it be maybe easier to even start with a digital product because often you don't need to serve anything? A digital product just pretty much runs on its own, right? It just sits there and it's being downloaded, and your cost might be $2, but you're getting what you just said, $7 or $8 or $9 back.
Yeah. So it really depends on the needs of the market. It's hard to just say like a service is better or a digital product is better or something like that. It really, first of all, I think it's easy to go, oh, I'll just make this quick digital thing and put it online and people will buy it. And that's just not true. Like there's still a lot of work that goes into selling something like that.
Totally.
But you have got to find, you have to start with the problem first. And this is a mistake I think a lot of business owners make, is they start with what either they think is a good product or what they think is going to make a lot of money or what would be easiest for them, which is all very like appealing from that perspective. But you actually have to start with a problem first. You have to ask yourself, what is a problem that I know I can solve for people? And when you have figured out how to do that, and you figure out that people actually want to pay you money to solve that problem as well, that's an important part, right? Like sometimes we have problems, but they're just not big enough problems to pay money for. But when you have a problem and you're willing to pay money, people are willing to pay you money for it. Now you have a potential business idea. And that's kind of the difference there. And the avenue that you take to sell that business idea could be a variety of things. It can be a digital product. It can be a service-based thing. It can be an online workshop like this. It can be selling a community like on school. You can build your own school community, sell it through that. There's different avenues depending on what problem it is that you're trying to solve ultimately.
Yeah.
So I have a free digital ebook with an upsell to a handbook. What would I advertise, the free book or the paid book? I would definitely recommend advertising your free book. Really great question, by the way. But what you have, your free digital ebook is what would be referred to as a lead magnet. And lead magnets are really fantastic. I have one on my own website if you're interested. Mine is honestly probably too big and too long for a lead magnet, but typically you want a lead magnet to solve one very specific problem for your ideal client, customer, target audience. So the budget calculator that I gave you guys yesterday would honestly make a great lead magnet for somebody, and I might put it on my website as one. But, if you're coming in and you're going, man, I just don't know how to budget for digital ads, and I give you this awesome free budget calculator, well, now you're looking at that and you're going, okay, well, she was able to solve one of my problems, so maybe she can solve more of my problems. And what you're doing is you're providing that is value that you're providing for free up front. And then you can sell your, what did you call it? A handbook. You upsell that handbook for whatever your normal value is. And it's like, if I get this really great content and great value from your free thing, I am much more likely to pay you money for your paid thing ultimately. Talking back about this cost per acquisition, just to give you a little bit of an example, some of your really higher end brands, like something like Louis Vuitton shoes, they are going to have a much better cost per acquisition ratio because they are considered a luxury brand. So where I'm talking about a 3-to-1 ratio here, they might have like an 8-to-1 ratio. And so the amount they're making like 8 times more the amount they're spending on marketing to you when you buy one of their products or something like that. And that's obviously like, you would like to probably eventually grow there as a luxury brand. And that just comes with demand over time, right? So Louis Vuitton has established themselves as a luxury brand, and people will buy shoes with those red bottoms and with that name, and they will pay a lot of money to have that, and it will not cost them nearly as much for marketing. Okay. Any other questions? Are we good on this part?
I think we're good.
Okay. Let's talk about some performance red flags and a few solutions. That's the end of this checklist. So low conversion rate, if you're at less than 1%, we definitely have like a landing page or a mismatch offer. This refers to when somebody actually clicks off of your traffic ad and visits your website or your landing page. Are they immediately leaving, which is usually considered like a high bounce rate, or they may be staying for only a couple seconds, but then they don't do anything? Both of these are considered red flags. This could be less to do with it's actually less to do with your paid ad than it is your website or your landing page specifically. So you might have great results on your paid ad, but if people are leaving as soon as they get to your website or your landing page, you're still not going to have a great conversion rate, right? And conversion rates really do vary a lot by industry. So it's hard for me to sit here and give you like what a good conversion rate average is. If you don't know what your conversion rate is, assume that it's 50% for now until you have data to go off of. But if you are a service provider, I used the example yesterday of like if you're a software developer making super expensive, nice softwares, your conversion rate is likely to be very, very low because you have a high ticket price. You're probably not going to sell as many people. Whereas if you have a digital product that is fairly cheap, you probably have a much higher conversion rate. It's something that's a little bit more low barrier and it's easier to get. And it's more people will spend like $7 than people spend $700 or $7,000, right? So conversion rates can vary a lot. The pro tip I really want to give for this, if your ad does not match your website or your landing page, people will click off your website or landing page. And what I mean by that is you might see like a really beautiful ad for something where, let's go back to that mattress example that I talked about. You might see a really beautiful ad for a mattress and you click on it and the first thing you see is like a kitchen dining room set. You might wonder if the ad took you to the right place or not. And you're going, this isn't what I was looking at, and you hop out. Okay. You need to do what I like to call follow the scent, which is like if your ad has like these colors and shows this product and says this kind of information, whatever website and landing page they go to needs to have all of that same stuff. Because if it doesn't, the first immediate thought is, what is this? This is not what I clicked on. Boom, I'm out of here. Okay. That's the very first thing. Let's talk about solutions. So if cost per click is $13 or higher, or CPA is a 2-to-1 ratio instead of 3-to-1 or higher, again, if it's higher, you have a better return on investment. We can go through some of these following things. So market product validation, you've heard me talk a lot about that lately. Content strategy improvements. Can we make more compelling headlines? Can we improve our CTA or call to action? And of course, test different like creative formats, video versus image. Audience targeting strategy, you've heard me talk a lot about that too, because specific equals sales. If we don't have that audience narrowed down, none of this really works, honestly. We have to narrow the audience. We have to test that demographic. That's what the test campaign is for, to make sure that we're hitting that. And you can try altering some of the interest or the behavior, the hobby type settings within your audience as well. Google and Meta have different ways of kind of allowing you to create custom audiences like that. You'll see it in my tutorial video, but like Google's got this really great list that I love where it's like, it'll show like fitness and beauty and health and, I don't know, video games. And like, you can kind of go through a list and like check off everything that you think your audience would likely be into. Whereas Facebook, you typically have to go in and kind of search for things. But, it can also be great to use an AI prompt. And I don't know if Katrina, if you made one for this already, or if you could make one potentially for the audience, but ask an AI prompt to create a list of interest-based or hobby-based things it thinks your ideal target would like, and that will further narrow down your list as well. And then, of course, landing page optimization, which I had talked about a second ago. And these are your potential solutions for if you are finding that your data is not where you want it to be. And last but not least, your success indicators. So that cost per click, we want it between the $2 and $7 range. If it's lower than $2, fantastic. That's a higher return on investment. Cost per acquisition, we want it to be at least 3-to-1, not 2-to-1. And if it's higher than 3-to-1, say 4-to-1, 5-to-1, so on and so forth, then it's even better. Conversion rate, I put at least 2%, but honestly, this varies so much by industry. I don't even like to give you like a percentage for it, really. It varies a lot. And then, of course, just a positive ROI. So based on how much you spend, how much you make, obviously, let's take our revenue minus our expenses. What is that return on investment? As long as it's positive, then you're heading in the right direction. And then consistent daily performance, you're not going to see like huge, massive swings typically. You're going to see like incremental steps. We talked about that exponential curve. That's very true. And then audience engagement, comments, shares, saves, etc. for Meta. Of course, you're going to see this over time as you continue to build an actual audience as well. And probably my biggest next pro tip is just to make sure that when you are setting up these campaigns, don't become too obsessed where you're like looking at it every 2 days and trying to make changes and all these kinds of things. Like, you have to kind of set it, forget it, check on it once a week, then alter some things if the data is not quite where you want it. But it does take some time for that data to actually start showing through. So, all right, that is my checklist. Do we have any questions about the checklist? I know there's kind of a lot in there.
In terms of the CPC, where I try to look at it. So you mentioned the awareness campaign. So any of your campaigns basically should have a CPC that ranges between $2 to $7.
Actually, your traffic one will be the only one that has a proper CPC, because traffic is actually sending people from the ad to your website or your landing page, and so it's going to count that per click. Yeah.
Okay, so
when it comes to awareness and engagement, if you're trying to ask like what do you look for in those, really you're looking at the number of impressions when it comes to awareness, and you're looking at like number of comments, likes, and shares when it comes to engagement stuff.
Got it, because I think I was looking at the lead gen ads, and that's where you get the CPC as well, and that's why I got confused for a moment. Got it.
Yeah. Lead gen, it can mean different things on different platforms. Lead gen is kind of a broad term, but sometimes lead gen refers to like awareness and consideration campaigns, and some lead gen refers to like traffic campaigns.
Yeah, I did the instant form.
Yes, yeah.
Those ones, and those show the CPC as well, and so I think I got confused.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So that's like a traffic one. They just don't actually have to leave Facebook. To give kind of an overview of what she's referring to, she created a ad that would essentially allow people to fill out an opt-in form with her directly from Facebook. So they don't even have to visit a website or anything. They just fill it out directly on the platform, which is also useful. But I personally like to use traffic to send people to find more information out about you, whether it's on a landing page or a website or whatever it might be.
All right. So I think Shalene said so much valuable information. I know that I will be doing the next couple of days. Yes, Shalene, and you better, so we can talk about this next week.
That's right.
Yeah, no, this one is really, really amazing. A lot of information. Honestly, everyone that is watching and rewatching this one as well, we have our community. It's really helpful if you post your questions in there, tag us. So I can either go to Victoria and say, hey, someone had a question. Could you maybe please? Yep. Or maybe I know the answer as well, because we have a lot of information flying around in the classroom as well. So definitely do not be shy. Use the next 7 days to really dive in and see if you can get one ad up and going. Yeah. No matter how scary it sounds is. And I think you mentioned the ad budget of $50. That is literally like, skip a few Starbucks coffee shop trips.
Yeah, that's right.
Else and try to do something good for your business, basically.
Yeah. So the homework, again, to recap for all of you that are watching this, and especially if you're new to actually doing campaigns, is try not to get overwhelmed with having to do the awareness, the engagement, and the traffic campaign all at once. All I want you to do is actually start with step 1, which is build out that test campaign first. And that is actually going to be a traffic campaign, but you're solely using it as a test. So you even like title it, test traffic campaign or something like that. And then you're just going to let it run for 1 week. You're going to let it run for $50, and you're going to try to set up your audience as specified as you can get it, and using those AI prompts to kind of help you with that if need be. Once we meet up next week, I will be happy to you guys can give me some of the data from your week of letting your ad run and see what has popped up, and I can offer some suggestions or things like that. It's a good introduction to how to actually set up a campaign, but it's also the test that you really need to perform to make sure that you've got that target audience detailed enough that this funnel is going to be effective for you. Once you've completed that test, once you're successful after the first week, then you can go in and it's like, okay, let me recreate this campaign again, but now I'm going to do an awareness one, then I'm going to do an engagement one, and then I'm going to do a traffic one. So
maybe it would be helpful for anybody that is really going to set up an ad the day before, maybe on Wednesday of next week, depending when you start, but maybe put a screenshot in of the ad itself from Facebook or Google with all of your numbers, which you will probably see in the video as well. And then we can take a look at it on Thursday and evaluate and talk a little bit
You're
about
welcome to take screenshots. You can do screen shares, anything like that. So
super sweet. All right, so let's see. Everybody is saying thank you so much for all the information, Erin. Great information today, and a lot of new concepts there. Yes, thank you for all the sharing.
Well, we've got one last module for you guys before we call it a day.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. You're not off the hook fully here.
Katrine, if you can help me out with
absolutely.
I know a lot of people have this question about what should my ads actually be, and this kind of gets more into that content topic and that organic content too.
I think that would cover Erin's question here. If I do physical products, should it just be one item or multiple or anything?
Man, what a fantastic question. Thank you so much for asking that. It should absolutely be one type of product. And so what I mean by that is like, let's say you sell planners.
She's making soaps, for example. She's a soap artist.
Perfect. Beautiful. So I don't know a whole lot about soaps as in like how many different variations there are, but like let's say you sell soap that has this one type of ingredient and moisturizer and scent to it. Maybe I would make all of that, like the overall styles might be different. Like maybe this soap looks like a seashell and this one looks like a, traditional bar of soap. And this one looks like a mermaid or something fun for kids or whatnot.
Oh, you know what? Look at this. She says, so soaps instead of the other skincare products she has. So she has soaps and skincare products as well.
Okay, so I would absolutely put those in different categories. So you should have one ad specific to soap and specific to a certain type of soap. So bar soaps, even. Like, I don't know if you do any kind of liquidy soaps or something like that, but this ad campaign and this ad funnel is specific to my bar soaps. This ad funnel is specific to my lotions. This ad funnel is specific to my lipsticks, chapstick era. This ad funnel is specific to my body washes. This ad funnel is specific to my face washes. Like, definitely cater those down to be very, very specific. 100%.
Sounds great, she says. Awesome. And Shalane had one more maybe before we dive in is, what about setting up 2 different ads? I was thinking to promote something I use. I think maybe you have to be a bit more specific.
I'm going to assume, Shalane, that you're talking about like setting up 2 different images for one campaign or something like that. Like maybe you want to show off this thing, but you also want to show off this thing. And as long as they are similar to the soap example, as long as they are in the same category, you can technically put as many different ads under one campaign as you want. So, for example, when I was setting up the campaigns for our Kickstarter for the video game, we had a video showing off the video game. We had some in-game screenshots showing off the video game. They were like a carousel of 3. And we had like information about the owner, Ted Peterson. He's popular in the video game space. And I think we had maybe a second video or something, like a shorter. We had like a long form video and then like a short reel or something like that. We had 4 different ads all within the same campaigns. And like, I made an awareness campaign with 4 ads. I made an engagement campaign with multiple ads. I made a traffic campaign with multiple ads, but they are all about the video game. And they're all about that specific video game, I should say too. That video game is called The Wayward Realms. If for whatever reason this company was making a second video game at the same time, I would not put video game number 1 and video game number 2 in the same campaigns. I would make different campaigns for video game number 1 and different campaigns for video game number 2. You can use the same methodology, but you're copying, pasting, and making sure that it stays specific to that product or service.
Okay, I think then that would answer no One is my lead magnet for my ebook, and the other is a service I use as CRM.
Are you doing affiliate marketing with the CRM? Is that what I'm understanding?
And that's what I would think too. Then I think that's definitely two different campaigns.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely two different campaigns, but you can certainly use the same method for those two different campaigns. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Yes, we are doing affiliate marketing. Okay, so fantastic. Yeah, I would create a campaign specifically for your ebook. And we'll talk about the content kind of style here in a second. That's kind of what this last module is. But I would absolutely create like your awareness, your engagement, and your traffic, all to cater down to, by the end of traffic, you want people to get your free ebook. That's your lead magnet. And then you can do the same exact thing, awareness, engagement, traffic, that all lead down to, here's my affiliate link to go get this incredible CRM. It's going to be very different audiences and very different content, because I'm not sure what your ebook is over, but I'm sure it's over a specific topic.
Yeah, I think it is aromatherapy for horses.
Okay. So the ebook is all about aromatherapy. Not all people who love aromatherapy or want aromatherapy are going to magically want this CRM, right? Like that's just not how it works. We all have varying interests. You might have some overlap, but not the whole audience. So if I was you, I would build an audience specifically for your aromatherapy stuff, and I would build audiences specifically for your affiliate marketing to the CRM stuff. And the CRM, most CRMs are usually business owners and stuff are going to have CRM. So you're going to build like an audience of specific business owners, and then you're going to build an audience of specific like people who are into aromatherapy, whatever that all includes.
Correct. Yeah.
And then funnel outreach.
So that's exactly, Shalane. It's two different markets, basically, two different audiences, then two different campaigns, two different everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's see.
Kim, why are we paying ad money for free things just to get email address for future business? Yeah.
You absolutely can. There's nothing wrong with that. It kind of just depends on what you want your business to do. I mean, if she's giving away a free ebook and people find it very, very valuable and they love it, then they are much more likely to spend money with her, and therefore her conversion rate will go up as a result. You don't necessarily have to have a lead magnet. You can just go straight to your offer, but you can also probably expect that your conversion rate will be a little bit lower as a result as well. So both methods are valuable. Viable, I should say. Valuable if you make them valuable, but both methods are viable options. I love giving away free stuff because honestly, it just shows people that you know what you're talking about. We talked about building truth. We talked about building up proof for people. We talked about getting reviews from people. And the more free stuff you give away, as counterintuitive as it sounds, because you're like, why would I give away all my best stuff for free? The more business you're going to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a correlating factor. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, not all your free people are the best people to work with, and that's a different topic. But
yes, it is.
there's a client type we want to work with, and it's not always the people that get the free stuff. But
yeah,
that's why you also have a paywall later on.
Very true.
All right, last module.
We can take it also in a moment, but make sure you saw it. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I want to say I appreciate the value of what you have given us. I wish I knew you 10 years ago.
Well, thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
Sweet. Yeah.
I was very blessed to have some business mentors in my life, which I think is one reason I'm kind of a big proponent of like knowledge should be free, because I had one major business mentor that he took me to multiple like business conferences and introduced me to a lot of people through networking, and just like without him, like I would not have the same knowledge that I do today. So it's unbelievable what the right mentor and people helping you will just like, it's like a cloud that lifts from your vision, and you're like, wow, look at all this stuff that I had no idea about.
Yeah, so true.
I do just want to quickly go over like what should my ads actually be? Because I know that's like the age-old question everybody has, right? Is like, what kind of content do you actually put out as ads? And I've got this very brief list for you. Katrina's been kind enough to create an AI prompt for this as well. And so you can use hers to help you come up with content ideas. But I just kind of wanted to give this to you as like sort of an overview of what you're trying to do at each stage. So for your awareness campaigns, think first impressions and introductions. If you remember, yesterday I said something about like, how would you feel if you went on a blind date with somebody and then they immediately proposed to you at dinner? And this is the first time you're ever meeting, right? Like that would be super awkward. I'm getting up and leaving and we're never speaking again because you're obviously crazy. Like that's, you know what I mean? It's the same exact thing with an awareness campaign. We don't want to instantly sell. We just want to introduce ourselves. We just want to say hi. We want to get people to kind of learn about us and what we're doing. So think introduction videos, day in your life videos. Think about like showing people that you're learning a new skill. People are really hesitant to do this, but others love it. Like if you're in the middle of learning how to do digital ads, record yourself learning how to do digital ads and like going through the process and turn that into content. Your personal experiences. There's somebody on YouTube, and I wish I could remember who it was, but you'll see a few people talking about this, but the idea of the value of one. And what that means is like your personal experiences cannot be replicated by anybody else because it was your personal experience. And so for me, for example, I started off as a 17-year-old who joined this little tiny martial arts studio just because I wanted to do martial arts my entire life. And then before I knew it, I was saying yes to like working there and doing all the things there. I became the front desk rep. I became the marketing director. I became the program director. Eventually I became the COO. Eventually we opened up new services. Eventually we opened up another new service. Eventually I was running the team by myself without the CEO there. And I just kept saying yes to all these things. That has led me to be a freelancer, to do the work that I'm doing now, to teach a workshop like this, which is really cool. But that is my very specific experience. Not many people go to a martial arts studio, work in it for 9 years, and then have experiences to talk about it afterwards. Very blessed to have been able to do so. There are certain moms who used to be nurses and then decided to stay home and then decided to launch an online business that have incredible success online. They have very specific personal experiences to that. You want to share stuff like that. Stories you can share about your life. Engagement. Think of something that provokes a reaction. And I think when I say provokes a reaction, that has a negative connotation a little bit. I don't mean like a negative reaction, but something emotional, like sharing your brand, giving to charity. You'll see Mr. Beast has an entire channel dedicated to charities and being a philanthropist, being able to give money away, being able to help build wells, being able to help blind people have like surgeries that help them see and all kinds of crazy stuff. That is the emotional part of his brand. Okay. Any kind of triumph stories. So share about times that you really struggled and you overcame something. Share about crazy life stories. Like, did you just deal with some really crazy client one time and how did that turn out? And then client success stories is another fantastic engagement one. When it comes to your traffic content, now it's time to actually sell your thing. So through awareness and through engagement, people have gotten to know you. You've gone on a couple dates together. Now it's time to propose. Okay. Like we've been dating for a little while and now we're ready to have something more serious. Okay. Now we can talk about why your offer, I totally mistyped that, why your offer of your product or service is better, who's it a benefit for, what makes it different from others. We want to talk about the benefits of all of your stuff, why it's worth the value that you're selling it for, how it changes lives, how it benefits other people. And that's kind of like your general diagnosis for what you want your content to be. And then when it comes to actual, like, do I do images? Do I do video? What should my copywriting look like? What should my header look like? All this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, video has proven to perform better. generally. So if you can do video, I recommend video. Copywriting, yes, it's important, but like honestly, it's not the most important thing when it comes to digital ads. Just write, be yourself. The biggest thing about copywriting is that we want to communicate the story. Every single post you have has a story to it, beginning, a middle, and end. Generally, stories are going to have some kind of conflict that happens, and then that resolution part. And if you can communicate that in your copywriting, then you're doing a great job. That's it. Okay. All right. That's the end of day 2. So today we've talked about creating that test first. You've got links to the technical tutorials for how to set up ads in Google and how to set up ads in Meta. Katrina's got those links for you. We talked a little bit about other platforms, mainly that this is doable on other platforms. Your budget may vary on other platforms, but it is doable. TikTok is very expensive. Please know that if you ever try to go in and do that. And then, of course, you've got that checklist and red flags to look out for. And then we've got a little bit of a better idea about what our content should be, hopefully.
Sweet. All right. I think we've got our work cut out here. Thank you for that, Victoria. This was amazing. Beautiful. Thank you so, so much. Let's see if there's any other last question right now for today.
Yeah.
Feel free to post it. Otherwise, I think
And honestly, we have a little bit of time if you have a question that's not even related to like digital ads per se, but just marketing in general or something like that. I mean,
yeah.
I plan to be here till 12, so might as well.
Yeah, so if you have any other questions, do let us know in the comments. And I know there's always a little bit of a delay. Thanks for the homework, and I'll be smelling an essential oil for inspiration. That's what Kim says.
I love that.
I think Erin said as well, that makes so much more sense with the different campaigns, the setup of different campaigns, really. Yeah. And I think maybe for the way of thinking about it, once you go, and probably you have this in your videos, is like we always have this campaign and then ad set and then ads. So you will be setting up your campaigns basically for your different products always. I think that's what Shalane mentioned before. You have a CRM campaign, and then you're going to have your lead magnet campaign or whatever it's going to be. And the same for Erin. You have these different campaigns, and it will make much more sense, I think, as well, once you actually go in and follow your videos. Yeah. Because then you will have everything. It's like, oh, that's what she said. Right. I remember.
I think if I remember correctly, I say it in the Meta tutorial specifically because Meta has it set up in a way that I think it's just easier to read. But you have campaigns, you have ad sets, and you have ads. Ads are just a folder within ad sets. Ad sets are just a folder within campaigns. And when you are able to kind of realize that's how it's organized, I feel like creating funnels and campaigns on Google and Meta makes it a lot easier. Google does have it organized the same way. I just feel like visually it's a little bit more complicated to look at on the dashboard.
Yeah. I need to get warm with it again. I think Kim is asking, I'm torn to advertise my blends well with spreadsheets. So she has a kind of spreadsheet as well, but specifically for blends and aromatherapy, it's pretty comprehensive. And I think it is actually a paid product, Kim, if I remember well. And then she has a freebie to get emails. So it's basically a paid product, a paid digital product versus a freebie she has created.
So the spreadsheet is the paid product? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is.
Kimberly, what is your freebie, if you don't mind me asking? Like, is that the ebook, or I think, was that a different, I'm sorry, was that different?
Yeah, I think she has an ebook about, we have to see. She had a couple.
Shalane had the ebook, I think.
Yeah, she has the ebook as well. So my niche, equine aromatherapy, is very small. I'm still not sure how Meta or Google will find my audience. No, I think it's going to be great, in my opinion.
Yeah, I actually think the fact that your niche is so small is a good thing for you because it means that you probably won't have as much competition either, which
Yeah,
is fantastic.
which is
Um,
good for the costs, I think, as well, then
when it
probably.
comes to aromatherapy, I think you can look at, you would probably have a couple different target audiences. You would have like people at home, kind of like me, like that work from home, especially like I have I don't want to mess up anything, but I have this lovely like little wax melter thing that I keep by my
Oh, yeah.
computer. And can one audience be like, oh yeah, women who work from home who just want their home office to smell really nice, right? Like that's one audience. The other audience might be somebody like chiropractors. Like I visit my chiropractor every month, and he's always got like an aroma thing in his office, and it's like, do you want your business office to smell nice and inviting for your clients, right? So you can have kind of two different audience types that I think you cater to. The message that you say to each of those people is going to be different. It should be different. But I think you can tell Google, like, I want to create an audience for women who work from home, who might also be into candles and wax melters and perfumes. And then I also want to have a different audience. And I'm going to, again, two different funnels. So I don't want you to get confused and think, oh, I'm going to create one funnel for both of these audiences. No, specific equals sales. I'm going to create one funnel for the women who work from home office people. And I'm going to create one funnel for chiropractors, doctors, dentists, anybody that's got like a brick and mortar location that just wants their place to smell, really nice when people come in. And maybe it's like a calming thing for their clients, right? Like I think you can create two separate stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's horse aromatherapy. So it is very specific, but you can, I mean, there you can go in the direction of animals and anything around horses. It doesn't need to be just
I guess I've never heard of horse aromatherapy, so you'll have to forgive me.
yeah,
That's
it's
really interesting.
very unique. Yeah, it's very
It's very
unique.
unique.
But
But in that case, I mean, then you're just targeting horse owners, right? So people who buy saddles and people who have a ranch or rent at ranches, like stalls and stuff. People who probably purchase, like, what's the attire that an equestrian rider might wear? Like people who
right.
wear that kind of stuff, riding boots and
I
whatever else.
can think of a
I don't
hundred.
know anything about horses, but
No, but you're right. I think I can think of 100 different ways on finding horse owners, and that is also through stores and locations and vacation rentals and whatnot else. So there's quite a bit, I think, as well. So Kim was saying it's an ebook guide, 5-minute essential oil kitchen rescue guide freebie for the email. So it's a free one. It's 26-page guide.
Okay. When you go to advertise your freebie guide, don't advertise that it's 26 pages. That's a common issue I think I see when people try to market something. Is it's almost like they try to market how much work they put into it rather than the benefits that the person will get. So, come check out my 26-page guide. It includes this checklist and it includes this thing and it includes this thing. All you're telling me as the audience is like how much I'm going to have to read to get the benefits that I want. Whereas instead, I would rather you focus on, hey, come check out my guide. You're going to receive blah, 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 blah. You're going to feel this way about it. You're going to be more like, in the case of your 5-minute essential oil kitchen rescue, I would probably specify something like, you are going to have a home that smells amazing. You are going to be able to do this so fast. You can literally make 5-minute recipes. Like that's the stuff that you want to tell your audience, not the guide is 26 pages. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think so basically her question is, should she do this one first, the spreadsheet that is a paid version, or should she go for the freebie first to
Free
try the
free
advertisement?
is always first. Free is always first. And the reason is because you're trying to create low barrier offers to new people. Blind date analogy. I'm trying to see how I can make this work. You're on a blind date. We don't want to propose on the first date, right? but we just kind of want to coax the person to go on a second date with us, right? Like if we really like them, obviously. You're on the date. I'm not going to propose to you on the first date, but I'm like, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we went to this festival thing as our second date? Like that's your freebie. Like, wouldn't it be fun if you also did this thing with me? It's a second date. And the more kind of, we call them touch points when you're talking about a customer journey, and that would be a part of your customer journey. But the more touch points you can have with a client, the more likely they are to actually build a relationship with you, to build trust with you, to recognize that like you actually know what you're doing, and therefore, spend money with you later. So free is always first.
All right. And I think that's pretty much it. I think, Shalene, horse owners also have animals, so I service those as well. Yeah, I think one thing that comes to my mind here when Shalene mentions this, she's also a pet sitter. But those two, Shalene, in how far I know your business right now, are two very different businesses you're trying to grow, or actually get out of one and do the other one, the horses. So I don't think it would be good to mix them necessarily up, but it is true that some pet owners might have a horse, but most horse owners might have or will have a pet as well. You often see that they have a dog or a cat or something else as well. So would you say they go for pet owners or go for horse owners directly?
I would definitely go for horse owners directly, because otherwise you're going to get all the like dog owners and cat owners that probably live in like apartments somewhere, and they don't even have the space for a horse, right? So, but if you're looking at somebody that like, people who do like equestrian competitions of some kind, people who purchase like riding boots for horse riding, people who purchase saddles, people who have to either own or rent out like ranch space, people who purchase like horse grooming products of like, brushes and things like that. Any of that kind of like, that is behavioral type points that you can really target to find the people that are your likely align with your target audience.
And that was always one of my first questions I had when I started out with ads. So if I know all of this, I know they buy a saddle, and then I know they buy cowboy boots, let's say. Is that what I can choose in the ads under behavioral? Or how would I name that in Facebook ads, for example, or Google ads?
It's slightly different depending on the platform. Google, you can just add like your own terminology as well, or you can like search for it. I should say it's more of a search bar than adding your own. But they actually have this great list, and you're going to see that in the technical tutorial video. Like, it's a massive list of like,
wow,
like, every activity you can think of a person doing, it feels like it's on this list because Google has prepared it for you. And you can literally go through each one and just click it and be like, do I think my ideal audience likes this thing? Check yes. If not, leave it blank. Check yes if you think this person likes something. Meta is different. They don't have a list like that, at least not that I've seen. It would be cool if they add one, if they come out with that feature or something. But for Meta, it's more of a search bar, but honestly, their search bar is better than Google as well. So I don't know if they're using like Google's checklist and maybe that becomes their search bar. But like, if I were you, I would go to AI and be like, help me come up with the behaviors that likely align with this target audience, and then like list out your target audience, right? And then AI is probably going to send you a list of like, they buy horse attire, they buy horse grooming stuff, they rent a space, that whatever it comes up with. And then you can go to Google, check off the box for any of the things that you think your target audience will align with, and you can go to Meta and you can take like that AI list and manually input it.
search for
those people.
Yeah.
And also, like, don't forget to look up like influencers in that space and also correlate to those guys as well. So Google is amazing in this. I love Google about this. You can tell Google. So let's say there's a YouTube channel that's all about taking care of horses, for example. It's a horse care kind of channel. You can tell Google, I want my ad to show up to viewers who watch this channel. I want my ad to show up to people who watch this specific video. So maybe they find a horse grooming video of some kind, horse care video. Like, you can copy and paste the link over and be like, tell Google, this is the kind of content that like my audience will enjoy, and that's where I want my ad to show up. And that's in the technical tutorial I recorded as well.
Amazing.
That
Okay,
is
great.
super powerful, because if you know of influencers in that space who have like millions of followers already, you're getting to use their audience to help push your digital ads out, which is
Amazing. And that's Google, you said, right?
Google. Yeah, Google will do that.
Yeah.
Facebook, I think you can select like, I want people who have an interest in this kind of content. Like, you can have like a generic like horse care kind of thing, but you can't necessarily put in like a specific influencer, a specific channel or something like that. I don't think they have it.
Yeah, I actually use Gary Vaynerchuk and Amy Porterfield, for example, and so on in Facebook as a influencer there. But it's hard to find influencers you want to add. So if Google finds this URL and you can put it in, that's way more advanced than what Facebook does.
Yeah, I would definitely say, like, if you're in a specific niche industry, start going on YouTube. If you want to do Google Ads, start going on YouTube and finding the big influencers in that space already.
Right.
Because when you set up your Google Ads, it's going to be a really, really powerful tool for you. Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think I learned a long ago, pet sitting clients are not my aromatherapy clients. There you go. So yeah, definitely then go for horse. I think, would we use the same ad messaging for different groups? For example, women, aromatherapists, chiropractors, massage doctors?
No, I would definitely use it. I would create different messaging for each group. So you should have one funnel. And when I say funnel, that means like one awareness campaign, one engagement campaign, one traffic campaign. That's your funnel. That's that green triangle I showed.
Mm-hmm.
This thing right here. This is a funnel. You should have one funnel per your audience. So Google and Meta will allow you to build custom audiences, and you can save them. So you build out the audience, you call it something hopefully semi-descriptive so you remember what the audience is. So maybe like chiropractors, doctors, massage professionals, blah, blah, blah. You create the audience. You're going to say, I want people that are the ages between like, I don't know, maybe 32 and 60 for those kind of professionals. Maybe they're predominantly male. I actually don't know what that statistic is. Maybe they're predominantly female. We'd have to look that up. But I want these kind of professionals, specifically probably this gender, this age group. They probably make this yearly salary estimate range and all that kind of stuff. You're going to create that audience. You're going to save it. You're going to call it your doctors and professionals, whatever. And then you're going to build campaigns that only target that audience. And then you're going to create a separate audience, and you're going to call it women, aromatherapists. You're going to have a different, like, it's going to be specifically women. It's going to probably be a different age bracket, I imagine. The salary is likely going to be very different. All those kind of details are going to be different. Maybe that's where you focus in on like the horse stuff, especially things like that. And you call that audience like women, aromatherapists, or horse, horse owners or something like that. You call it whatever you want. That's descriptive enough.
Yeah.
Funnel specific for that audience.
Would you also say that maybe it is always a good idea to think a little bit, what would you do in real life, Kim? In this case, would you talk to aromatherapists differently than you maybe talk to a chiropractor or a massage therapist or a doctor? So in that way, maybe the messaging needs to be different too, because if you talk to an aromatherapist, you talk to someone who's equal to you more or less, but with someone else, you would need to have a much longer explanation maybe around what you're trying to sell. So I would maybe keep that in mind as well. I don't know if you would agree with that or not, but you have different audiences and you don't talk to your child the same as to your husband. I mean,
well,
you never know.
The needs are always going to be different too. Like your ebook that's about like 5-minute recipes are probably going to be more for like, the moms and aromatherapists and horse owners that can do that kind of thing at home. Your doctors, your chiropractors, your dentist, your whatever, they're not going to be making like recipes at home. They're going to want something that they can just like put in their business, plug it in, and it does what it's supposed to do, right? Because they're just trying to make the place smell good, but they're not like interested in aromatherapy. They're interested in making sure their clients have a good experience.
Right.
I did want to, let's see. Reminder that next week we've got the Q&A day. That's Thursday, August the 21st from 11 to 12. Your homework between now and then is to create that test campaign. And if you create it and you run into issues, bring your issues to the Q&A day. If you create it and you've got some data to show off, bring that with you to the Q&A day, and we'll go from there. And we'll hang out, I think, for an hour to just answer any questions, to run through stuff, troubleshoot anything that you might run into along the way. If you do want more assistance, you're welcome to schedule a free strategy call with me. They're 45 minutes each. You can do so at victoriaparamore.com. I think, Kimberly, you've already actually scheduled one, so thank you so much.
I think she's on with you on Tuesday or so.
Yeah. And then I'm also going to offer you guys, so if you do want like actual hands-on help, my hands-on help to create this funnel for you in any way, I'll give you a $200 offer. Just send me a message either through my website or schedule a strategy call, and then I will create an invoice for you. I'll have to have you fill out a form, so I have some information to do that. But I will do this whole process for you for $200 as well. So just an offer for you guys.
Super sweet. Wow. That's definitely, you should consider, because this can accelerate your business by a lot. So definitely do that as well. And also, I have your information also in the group as well, under Who is Victoria. So you can also click easily on there in case you just forget this one here too.
Absolutely.
And this was
and of course, if you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the school community as well. And if you can tag me, just so I can make sure to see it. I usually check out school at least once a day. So if I don't answer immediately, I'll get to it within 24 hours likely.
Yeah, just make sure you tag us. That's always, because otherwise they get a little bit lost, those messages. And then Shalane, yes, you know what you can do actually, Shalane, since you have the assistant, you can definitely just literally go into your assistant and ask the assistant for it. And it looks like this quickly. You just go ahead and say, can you please find me a list of interest for my Blend Precisely business for Facebook ads, or replace it obviously with your business. And it pulls all of the business information from your business. And then you can even fine tune it, give me interest or give me behavioral studies or emotionals or whatever you want. You can just pull this list and you can go ahead and continue to chat with it too. So you have a direct list to your horse equine business, so you know how to work with that.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I just wanted to answer that quick question too. And I think then we are at the end.
Yeah. Kimberly, I look forward to talking to you on Thursday. Thank you so much.
Thursday it is. All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining. It's always sweet to see a group of people that is just like hanging out with you until the very end, being there. So thanks a lot as well.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you a lot, and you have a beautiful end of the week as well.
Thank you.
It's the hump day, right? Wednesday.
That's right.
Okay, well, we'll see you back next week, and then in between, maybe through messages.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Bye, everyone. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.